Hello YouTube friends, it's Big Philly with Poor Boys RC, and I wanted to welcome you guys to part 2 of the Tamiya Sand Scorcher re-release build. In this video, what we're going to do is start putting this body together. So really quick, couple things that I did already on the body. You guys that have this body know that there's this little sunroof filler piece that goes in, and I've already gone ahead and glued it in with some CA. So that is in there. That's not coming out. And but what that's done is it's kind of got a bit of a ridge right here and right here, and doesn't sit perfectly flush. And for this body, I want this to look perfectly flush up here. So we're going to do a little bit of sanding and some filling work on the body here too to clean this up. So let's get started. Alright guys, with the body put aside, what I've done is I got a piece of 220 grit sandpaper here, along with it's a 3M sanding block, and it's, you know, it's hard, it's rigid, but it does have some flex to it, and I chose to go with a mildly flexy hard block here, so I can build and you know, kind of work with the contours on this body, and build these nice clean lines. We're getting there, guys, we're getting there. Still got a little more material to remove on this edge here, but keep sanding away. Alright guys, so we're back. We got the top of the body all cleaned off here. Got the whole thing kind of washed down and cleaned up as best we can, just with some water. So now again, I've got this, hopefully you can see it there, but there's a pretty, you know, hard line here where this part of the roof is quite low and this sunroof filler still sits quite high. So I want to put a little bit of plastic filler inside here, like that. And safety first, so instead of getting this stuff all over my hands, I'm just going to I'll use this Q-tip here and just really work it in these edges. I don't want to have this big tall ridge, but I do just want to hopefully you can see it nicely there. Just really kind of fill in that crack that was going around the body. And then here we have this low spot, so I want to kind of concentrate as much of the product as I can right here to build it up a little bit. Maybe I'll put just a little bit more right there. Alright YouTube, it's me, I'm back, and kind of on to the next phase of sanding this roof. So there was about a 40-minute cure time on this. I let it cure for actually overnight, just because I ran out of time yesterday and needed to go on with life. So so here we are, we're back, and the plastic filler that we put in here is 100% completely dried, and it's time to start sanding this nice and smooth and get rid of that line that was in here. So I unfortunately forgot to bring my block home from work. So in a pinch, we're going to improvise. We're going to use some Jello, nice Jello box here. And I'm going to take my sandpaper and I'm going to wrap it around my Jello box like so. It's got a nice kind of soft edge to it. Let's see if we can use a Jello box to sand with, right? So again, we're just going to start sanding this down. I apologize if the camera's shaking. I'm trying my best. And we're just going to start sanding this stuff down. So here guys, you can see where I've got the majority of this sanded. Got a really nice smooth edge here. Keep in mind I'm also going to prime this body too, so when we're done sanding we're going to do a little bit of priming work. Anyway, this is the easy part, getting this part sanded nice and smooth. This part here, remember, this is where that kind of thicker edge was, so I had to pile up the product a little bit higher, so going to get cracking on that, and probably fast forward through this because it's boring to watch me sand a car. So there it is guys, coming along really nice. This edge is beautiful. We got a little more work to do right here. If you look close, hopefully you can see that. You can really still see the outline where that sunroof filler piece went in. But as I rub my hand over it, I don't feel it at all, which means, you know, once we put a coat of primer on this, you're not going to see it. It's going to look seamless. And we're going to go black with this body, and black will show any imperfections. So we got to make sure she looks good. This body will be a tribute body, but more on that later. When I'm sanding with Jello, I only use fat-free Jello. No guilt when sanding. There we have it, guys. So she's been sanded nice and smooth. You can still see the line from where the insert piece used to go, but as I run my hand over this, it is perfectly smooth. And that high ridge that we had back here, you guys, this is a re-release Sand Scorcher shell, so you guys that are buying these re-releases, you're probably going to feel that ridge right there. I've got no ridge here whatsoever, nice and smooth. So again, I just sanded it with some 220 grit. I'm going to go downstairs, have some dinner, come back, and we're going to hit this with some 320 grit and get it ready for primer. Okay? I'll be back in a bit, guys. Cheers. Okay. So that's looking really nice, really smooth. I got one little, I don't know if you can see that, there's one little pinhole, couple little pinholes in there. So I got some putty at work, some red putty. We're going to fill those little pinholes in, and that will be a thing of beauty. Bingo bango, she is done. So again, I got a couple little, I don't know if you can see that little pinhole there, just because the material was put on pretty thick. So I did, you get these little pinholes sometimes with it's an air bubble that gets trapped, and as you sand it, you knock it down, you open up the air bubble. So I've got some putty at work I'm going to use for that. I'll bring it into the shop tomorrow. Couple extra little scratches to get out of there. And there we go. Bob's your uncle. So that's it for this, guys. And feel free to comment below. I get the notifications every time there's a question asked. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment. And I'm happy to help you out and kind of guide you along if you feel like doing something like this yourself. And yeah, we just do it for fun. It's a hobby, so this is just a fun thing to do and a cool way to make this body look a little more unique and a little more special. So there it is, guys. Next step will be some paint work. So I'm signing off for tonight, and paint work's coming up next. Stay tuned. By the way, guys, this plastic filler that I used to fill this roof here, my goodness, did it stink. Stunk up my whole house. Wife is not that happy. First time I've used it, not a common product that I've used in my past. Really stunk the place up, so a lot of you guys probably been in the same boat as me, making a mess, making a stink, making too much noise with your grinders, whatever else you're doing. But that's why we love this hobby. Lots of fun. So here we go, guys. We got a beautifully prepped body here. It's been scuffed. There's no shiny spots. If there's a couple, there's very few. This roof, beautifully smooth. This guy is just ready to go. So this is gonna make a nice smooth roof. I'm really excited about how that's gonna turn out. And we got some nice flat sanded panels inside. You can see where we glued in the sunroof filler. And here we go. So this body, we're going to give it a quick wash with some soap and water. Can't stress enough, make sure your bodies are clean before you paint. So I'm going to hit this with some dish soap and water one more time, give it a really good dry. Then we're going to go outside and we're going to hit this thing with some primer. We'll be right back.